3 months into my unemployment, I couldn't even afford rent anymore. Desperate and out of options, I tapped open an app called Resentment Recycling Station. It read, "We recycle all resentment in the world in exchange for payment. The heavier the resentment, the higher the reward." Thinking I might as well give it a shot, I accepted my first order. Mission: proceed to the unfinished building in the north of the city and quell the resentment of the woman in red. Reward: 100,000 yuan. I thought it was a prank, but staring at that 100,000 figure, I went anyway. At midnight, amidst the unfinished building's eerie gusts, a woman in a red dress drifted faintly before me, staring with venomous spite. Anyone else would have wet themselves. I, however, breathed a sigh of relief. Thank God. It was Chinese-style horror, not that Japanese or Korean kind that likes crawling out of TV screens. I pulled a copy of Das Kapital and a book on ideology from my bag and sat cross-legged. Come on, sis, have a seat. Let's talk. I understand your resentment. It's really just an issue of misalignment between corporate goals and personal financial realization. Look at you. Even in death, you're still part of the rat race, working overtime in that red dress. Isn't that the definition of a wrongful death? As a good ghost of a new era, you need to see the bigger picture. You have to look at the essence behind the problem. Half an hour later, the woman in red was streaming tears, holding my hand, and saying she had finally found someone who understood her. The resentment on her body turned into a streak of light and flew into my phone. Ding! Mission complete. 100,000 yuan reward received. New skill unlocked. Physical salvation, talk therapy edition. The bank deposit notification vibrated against my thigh until it went numb. 100,000, 10,000, 100,000. It was real. This app wasn't a scam at all. It was practically my personal ATM. I glanced at the big sister in red as she slowly faded away. She left peacefully, even bowing to me, looking exactly like a corporate drone filled with renewed motivation after the boss promised them the moon. Any fear I had vanished instantly. Vengeful ghost. Please. This was clearly an untapped labor resource waiting to be developed. An unpolished, down-market user base. My bread and butter. I straightened the collar of my suit. I'd bought it on Pinduoduo specifically for interviews. 39. 90 yuan, free shipping. Now, it felt more valuable than an Armani. My phone vibrated again. New mission. West City Reservoir. The water ghost seeking a substitute. Reward: 150,000 yuan. Note: target is extremely aggressive. Has already caused 3 drowning deaths. I didn't even read the note before tapping accept. Scared? I've survived being broke. You think I'm scared of ghosts? I caught a cab straight to the West City Reservoir. The driver looked at me like I was a psychopath. Go to a reservoir in the middle of the night meant I was either suicidal or dumping a body. When I arrived, the water was as black as ink. A foul, fishy stench hit me in the face. Glug, glug. Bubbles rose to the surface. A bloated, pale head slowly emerged, hair spreading out like seaweed. It opened its mouth, letting out a rasp like a broken bellows.
Come down. Keep me company.
A clammy, wet hand suddenly grabbed my ankle with shocking force, trying to drag me into the water. Thanks to the app, I didn't budge an inch. I looked down at it, pulled a calculator from my bag, and tapped away furiously. Clack, clack, clack. Friend, let's run the numbers. The water ghost froze, its hands stiffening in midair. You've been camping here for 3 years and pulled in 3 people. That's an average of 1 per year. Given the current queuing rates for reincarnation, you need to pull at least 50 more before your number comes up. 50 years. Do you have any idea what the inflation rate will be over 50 years? Do you know how fast real estate prices in the underworld are rising? Your current method of finding substitutes is inefficient. It's practically a textbook example of ineffective labor. The water ghost's eyes rolled slightly, looking a bit dazed. Clearly, no one had ever discussed such high-level topics with it before. I squatted down and patted its wet forehead. You're thinking too small, brother. Think about it. You're sitting on this massive reservoir, and all you can think about is dragging people underwater. What is this? I pointed at the reservoir. This is a resource. This is a monopoly asset. You should be running swimming classes, VIP underwater exploration experiences, real haunted house river rafting. Dragging someone down to drown is murder. It's a crime. But if you drag someone down, charge them $200 for a ticket, and then send them back up, that's called an immersive extreme sports experience. The water ghost's jaw dropped, black water dribbling from its mouth. Its pitifully small brain was currently undergoing a massive brainstorm. I struck while the iron was hot, flashing my phone's QR code. Stop overthinking it. Work with me. I'll handle operations, you handle the scaring. We split the profits 50-50. From now on, you're not a water ghost. You are the chief operating officer of the Reservoir Ecological Park. The black mist surrounding the water ghost surged violently. It looked at me as if looking at a devil who deserved to be hanged from a lamppost. Finally, it slowly released my ankle, fished a gold watch out of the water, and tremblingly handed it to me. That was left behind by the last poor bastard. Is it paying a franchise fee? Ding! Mission complete. Reward of 150,000 yuan has been deposited. Received extra gift. 1 Rolex gold watch. Needs purification. I smiled. This isn't a horror movie at all. This is clearly a manual for getting rich. Holding the gold watch and the freshly deposited 150,000, I went straight to Haidaleo for a meal. I ordered 4 plates of tripe just for myself. The waiter looked at me with eyes full of concern, but I didn't care. I was now a successful individual with $250,000 in cash, even if this success was built on the foundation of exploiting spirits. Sated, I returned to my cheap rental apartment. Resentment recycling station. The interface of the app had changed slightly. A new option appeared in the top right corner, employee management. I tapped it open, and 2 avatars were prominently displayed inside. One was the red-robed female ghost, status, purifying, progress 99%. The other was the water ghost, status, employed, West City Reservoir swimming coach. I can actually recruit them? I rubbed my chin. This system was interesting. It didn't just give money, it gave me ghosts. This was setting the rhythm for me to build an Underworld demolition team. Just as I was thinking this, the phone screen suddenly turned blood red. Emergency mission. Emergency mission. Location, Fuyuan Building, 14th floor. Target, the amalgamation of resentment from a 996 sudden death programmer. Reward, 300,000 yuan. Note, extremely dangerous. The target's resentment has formed a ghost domain. Anyone who enters this area will be forced to write code until brain death. 300,000. My breathing instantly quickened. I knew Fuyuan Building. It was the city's famous internet hub, also known as the Mecca for overtime. It was said that the lights there late at night were brighter than the street lamps. I immediately went out and hailed a taxi straight to Fuyuan Building. As soon as I arrived downstairs, I felt a suffocating sense of oppression. The entire building was shrouded in a layer of faint gray mist. Police tape blocked the entrance, and several police officers were speaking with people dressed in Taoist robes. I recognized that Taoist priest. It was the locally famous Master Wang. He usually charged 50,000 just to look at feng shui. At this moment, Master Wang was holding a compass with a grave expression, his forehead covered in cold sweat.
It's no good. The Yin energy is too heavy. This ghost's resentment pierces the heavens. My peachwood sword is cracked. Unless you invite a high master from Mount Longhu, anyone who goes in tonight will die.
A commotion rippled through the surrounding crowd. I straightened my tie and strode over. Make way. Please make way. A police officer stopped me.
What are you doing? It's dangerous inside.
I pushed up my non-existent glasses, looking solemn. I'm a new HR director. I'm here to conduct an exit interview for the employee inside. The police officer froze. Master Wang froze too.
Young man, are you crazy? That's a malicious ghost inside. That's a filthy thing that eats people without spitting out the bones.
Master Wang was so anxious his beard was trembling. I smiled contemptuously. Malicious ghost? In my eyes, there are no malicious ghosts. Only excellent employees who want to continue shining for the company even after death. That kind of spirit is worth learning from. After speaking, I ducked under the police tape before they could react. The elevator was stopped. I climbed the stairs to the 14th floor. The moment I pushed open the door, the sound of keyboard typing hit me like a violent storm. Clack, 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 clack. A gloomy wind howled through the entire office area. All the computer screens glowed with a ghastly green light. Dozens of semi-transparent shadows sat at the workstations, frantically typing code. And in the very center of the office, a massive black sphere of light composed of countless lines of garbled code hovered in the air. That was the amalgamation of resentment. It noticed me. A cold voice exploded in my mind.
Are the requirements changed? Are the bugs fixed? Is it live yet? All-nighter tonight.
Countless data cables stabbed toward me like tentacles, wanting to turn me into a member of this overtime army. I didn't move. I simply shouted one phrase. Stop. I am party A. Those words seemed to possess magical power. All the data cables instantly froze in midair. The massive black sphere of light trembled, seemingly holding an innate fear of the term party A. I pulled over a chair and sat down with a commanding presence. I crossed my legs. Hey, who's in charge? Where's the project manager? Get over here and report on your progress. Don't you know I brought $30 million in funding with me? A deathly silence fell over the entire 14th floor. The ghostly figures coding away stopped their work and stared at me blankly. The massive black sphere of light, an amalgamation of resentment from programmers who had died from overwork, slowly morphed into a middle-aged man with a comb-over. His dark circles rivaled a panda's, and he wore a tattered plaid shirt. He floated toward me, his tone laced with a hint of servility and hesitation.
Are you really the client?
I let out a cold snort, pulled out a sheet of A4 paper I'd just bought at the convenience store downstairs, and casually sketched out a big picture pie chart. Can't you tell? I am highly dissatisfied with your current progress. Extremely dissatisfied. Is this supposed to be a product? You're manufacturing e-waste. I pointed at the glowing green screens and started spouting madness. Where's the UX? Where are the pain points? What's the leverage? What about the granularity? Is the underlying logic streamlined? Have you formed a closed loop? In this vertical, you have absolutely no mode. I flung tech buzzwords around as if they were free. I really had to thank the boss in my previous company, who held meetings every single day, for training me to be such a pro. The comb-over ghost was stunned into a daze by my tirade. The resentment clinging to him even dissipated significantly out of sheer shame.
Then what should we do?
He rubbed his hands together, looking like a schoolboy who'd been caught misbehaving. I stood up and patted him on the shoulder. The touch was bitingly cold, but my heart was on fire. Brother, you died in vain. You think you died from working overtime? Wrong. You died from inefficient overtime. Look at you. Even after turning into a ghost, you're still writing this garbage code. What is the point? Will this change the world? Will this get you financial freedom? Vision. You need to have vision. I pointed at the myriad of lights outside the window. You possess the ability to control electronic devices, so why are you writing code? Go crypto mining. Go get Bitcoin. Go manipulate the stock market. Use your innate racial talents to do something with actual value. Writing code? That is menial labor for the living. The comb-over ghost's eyes lit up. The green glow turned golden. It was as if a door to a new world had opened for him.
Man. ING.
Yes. No GPUs needed, no electricity bills. Just mine with your mind. Think about it. Look at those profit margins. When that happens, you won't be a programmer anymore. You'll be the godfather of crypto. If you divert the entire Fuyuan building's power supply to mining, who could possibly stop you? The comb-over ghost trembled. With excitement, he suddenly grasped my hand with enough force to nearly crush my finger bones.
Master. No, Papa. I have been enlightened. Screw the code. Screw the product managers. I'm gonna mine.
Boom. The surrounding ominous energy instantly collapsed. The ghostly figures sitting in the cubicles turned into streaks of light and merged into the comb-over ghost's body. He bowed deeply to me, then transformed into a stream of golden data and dove into the largest server room. Ding! Mission accomplished. Reward of 300,000 yuan has been deposited. Obtained special item. The Ghost King's USB drive contains 100 bitcoins. I looked at the balance on my phone, then at the USB drive in my hand. 100 bitcoins. At the current exchange rate. I gulped. I was rich. However, I hadn't noticed that Master Wong was climbing a ladder outside the window. He happened to witness me pontificating to thin air. He was so frightened he fell off the ladder.
Holy SHD. That kid scolded the ghost until it cried.
I tucked the USB drive into my pocket and went downstairs. Master Wong was being helped up, pointing at me with an expression like he'd seen a ghost.
Are you human or a ghost?
I patted his shoulder and spoke with gravity. Master, times have changed. In the ghost hunting business, relying solely on a peachwood sword won't cut it anymore. You need to use your brain. You need to understand economics, management science, and a little psychology. Master Wong gaped, unable to squeeze out a single word for the longest time. I ignored him because my app chimed again. But this time, it wasn't a mission notification. It was a pop-up window. Warning, because you have consecutively redeemed 3 high-risk targets, and your methods are extremely unconventional. You have attracted the attention of the local city god office. Please note, your actions have been flagged as illegal business operations. I chuckled. Illegal business operations? I'm just revitalizing non-performing assets. But before I could enjoy my laugh for long, a man wearing a black suit and sunglasses, carrying a briefcase in hand, blocked my path. Wearing sunglasses in the dead of night, he was posturing even harder than I do.
Sir, please come with us.
His voice was cold, completely devoid of inflection. Also, I couldn't see his feet. He was floating. A civil servant? A civil servant of the Underworld? My heart skipped a beat, but on the surface, I remained as steady as an old dog. Do you have an appointment? My schedule is packed. The man in the black suit paused, clearly never having encountered such an arrogant human before.
The city god wants to see you. He is waiting for you.
I checked my watch. Fine. Since it's a top executive, I'll show some respect. But let me make one thing clear up front. I charge a consultation fee. The corner of the black-suited man's mouth twitched. He waved his hand, and a black Audi A6 appeared out of thin air. It was even a government-issue model. I opened the door and got in. The AC inside was blasting, or maybe it was just heavy with energy. The car started up and drove straight into a wall. I closed my eyes. When I opened them again, I was no longer in the city. Before me stood an ancient-style government office, yet the sign hanging at the entrance read, Underworld Office in the Human Realm CBD branch. There was even a punch clock at the entrance. 2 guards, Oxhead and Horseface, were smoking and complaining nearby.
Didn't hit this month's KPI again. Management is going to dock our performance pay. Yeah, ghosts these days are too hard to catch. They're all slippery as eels.
I was amused. This wasn't the Underworld. This was clearly just another bureaucracy. The man in the black suit led me inside. Sitting in the main hall was a fat man wearing ancient official robes, but holding an iPad and scrolling through TikTok. This is the city god. He looked up at me and put down the iPad.
So it's you? The one who conned the unfinished building female ghost into being a nanny, conned the water ghost into being a swim coach, and the programmer ghost into being a crypto mining rig. That talent?
I smiled modestly. You flatter me. Just basic operations. The city god's chubby face quivered.
Do you realize you are disrupting the order of the Underworld? That female ghost was supposed to be boiled in oil. That water ghost was supposed to be serving a sentence. And now you've turned them into.
He couldn't seem to find the right words. Into major taxpayers. I helpfully supplied. The city god slammed the table.
Insolence. Life and death are fated, karma cycles endlessly. How can a mere tongue like yours change that?
A gloomy wind rose in the hall, and the bailiffs on both sides began pounding their killer staves on the ground.
Way woo.
Anyone else would have knelt by now, but not me. I simply took out my phone calmly and opened my app. My lord, don't be angry. Look, this is my cash flow from the past few days. I know the Underworld is tight on budget and spirit money is depreciating. This branch office can't be having an easy time, right? The city god's eyes lingered on the string of numbers for a second. His imposing aura weakened by half.
Ahem? So what?
I want to discuss a partnership with you. I took a step forward, ignoring the grimacing ghost officers nearby. Give me an official position as a human agent. I'll help you deal with those stubborn holdouts and deadbeat ghosts. As for the profits, I held up 3 fingers. A 70-30 split. 70 for you, 30 for me. The city god's eyes instantly narrowed into slits.
Elaborate.
I smiled. I knew it. Whether human, ghost, god, or demon, as long as they're part of the system, nobody turns down performance stats. And I am the super contractor who could deliver those stats. Half an hour later, I walked out of the office. In my hand was a black token engraved with the word inspector. Although it was a temporary position, it was still an official government post with benefits. If anyone dared say I was operating illegally again, I'd smash this token right into their face. Plus, I had landed a big contract, assigned personally by the city god. Special mission, clean up South City haunted house no. 1 foot. Reward, property rights to the haunted house, valued at $5 million, though unsellable. Target, the family of 3 entrenched within. Note, a nest of deadbeat ghosts. The Underworld sent 3 waves of officers, all driven out. Reason, trespassing on private property. Looking at the mission brief, I almost laughed out loud. Talking law with ghosts? This was right up my alley. I returned home, took a shower, and changed into more presentable clothes. This time, it was haute couture, bought for 88 yuan on Pinduoduo. Early the next morning, clutching the file from the city god, I went straight to that famous haunted house in the south of the city. It was a detached villa in a prime location, but it had been abandoned for 10 years. It was said that anyone who tried to live there would find themselves relocated to the middle of the street by midnight. I stood at the entrance of the villa and rang the doorbell. No answer. Of course there was no answer. I cleared my throat and pulled out a megaphone. Residents inside, listen up. I'm from property management. You are 10 years behind on your property management fees, utilities, and waste disposal fees. The total comes to $84 million. Come out and pay up immediately. Otherwise, we will implement a 3-strike suspension, cutting off your water, your electricity, and your energy. The villa remained silent. A few seconds later, a second-floor window suddenly shattered. A male ghost in pajamas floated out, clutching a kitchen knife.
Get lost. This is my house. I died here, so it belongs to me. I have no money, but you can take my life. Oh, wait, I don't have a life anymore.
He looked incredibly arrogant. This was the typical mindset of a stubborn squatter. I shook my head and pulled a contract out of my bag. Sir, according to Article 38 of the amendment to the property law of the realms of the living and the dead, property rights in the living world automatically lapse after death. You are currently illegally occupying someone else's property. Furthermore, you are wasting public resources. The male ghost sneered.
Don't try to bluff me with that. Even the spirit police don't dare to arrest me. Who do you think you are?
I'm nobody special. I put away the contract, took out my phone, and dialed a number. Hello, demolition office. Yes, it's that squatter in the south of the city. Negotiations failed. He's resisting with force. Yes, I've already secured the permit. Proceed. I hung up the phone. I flashed the male ghost a smile that was nuclear in its benevolence. Since you won't pay the management fees, I'm tearing the house down. Let's see where you'll live then. Rumble. The sound of excavators approached from the distance. Of course, they weren't real excavators. They were the water ghost engineering team I had hired with the money I earned yesterday. A dozen excavators condensed from water vapor were rolling in aggressively. Leading them was that water ghost from the reservoir, now decked out in a yellow vest and hard hat, looking extremely professional.
Boss, what are we tearing down?
The water ghost roared. I pointed at the villa. Everything except the load-bearing walls.
You got it.
The male ghost was dumbfounded. His wife and child floated out too, and the family of 3 huddled together, shivering. They didn't fear Taoist priests or talismans, because those things could only hurt them, not destroy their home. But I was actually going to demolish the place.
Don't tear it down.
The male ghost broke.
We'll pay, all right?
I waved my hand, signaling the excavators to pause. Couldn't you have just done that earlier? But the price has gone up now. In addition to paying the back fees, you also have to sign an agreement. I took out another contract. I'm turning this house into a horror-themed homestay. Your family of 3 will act as NPCs around the clock. No salary, but room and board, incense, are included. Work for 50 years to pay off the property fees. Do we have a deal? The excavator's bucket was already hovering over the roof. The male ghost looked at the massive scoop and shed tears of humiliation.
I'll sign.
I stored the contract away with satisfaction. In that moment, I deeply understood the power of capital. It turned out that being a ruthless boss was much more satisfying than being a righteous celestial master. Having subdued the haunted house family, I added another asset to my portfolio. But I didn't rush to open for business, because what I wanted to build was a brand, an ecosystem. I integrated the resources of the Reservoir Park and the haunted homestay. I launched the Scream Day Trip package. During the day, visit the reservoir to experience the water ghost drag. At night, stay in the haunted house to experience the sleep paralysis service. Once launched, it actually became a hit. Of course, most tourists thought it was just special effects and actors. Only a very few brave souls, after finishing the experience, gave a 5-star review with pale faces and swore they would never return. My account balance was skyrocketing every day. But with more money came more trouble. One day, I was at the villa training the family on how to make scaring people more artistic. Don't just scream. It needs layers. First the cold wind, then the footsteps, and finally the jump scare when they turn around. Rhythm. Watch your rhythm. Just as I was getting into it, the front door was kicked open. An old man wearing a tang suit and holding a peach wood sword walked in. It was none other than Master Wong, who had been scared into fainting at the Fuyuan building the other day. But behind him followed a crowd. There were Buddhist monks, Taoist priests, and even a few Catholic priests holding crosses. Was this the 6 major sects besieging Bright Summit?
You monster.
Master Wong pointed at me, speaking with righteous indignation.
You dare raise malicious ghosts to wreak havoc on the mortal world. Today, the Alliance of the Righteous will enforce justice on behalf of heaven and eradicate a demon like you.
I set down the pointer in my hand and looked at this aggressive mob of warriors of justice. Beside me, the male ghost, who now goes by Old Zhang, was so terrified he wanted to crawl into a crack in the ground. I kicked him. Stand up straight. You're my employee. Aside from me, no one is allowed to bully you. Old Zhang was moved to tears, clutching the employee handbook I'd issued him tightly in his hand. I walked up to Master Wong. Master Wong, be careful what you eat, but be even more careful what you say. I run a legitimate business. Here is my business license. I pointed to the license from the Bureau of Industry and Commerce hanging on the wall, as well as the Black City Gods token beside it. Master Wong's pupils constricted when he saw the City Gods token, but clearly he didn't believe it.
It's a fake. It must be a fake. Fellow Taoists, don't listen to his sophistry. The ghostly aura in this villa reaches the heavens. He must be practicing dark arts. Everyone attack.
The group charged forward, brandishing various magical artifacts. I sighed. It's truly hard to do business these days. Since listening to reason isn't an option, I'll have to resort to physics. I snapped my fingers. Come on out, security department. Whoosh! From the shadows of the villa emerged a group of burly men in black suits. They carried no weapons, yet each one radiated a suffocating chill. The leader was none other than the balding programmer who, after getting crushed by the crypto market and temporarily quitting his internet addiction, was moonlighting as the head of security. However, he now bulged with muscles sculpted from data streams, looking like a Terminator.
Boss, should we throw them out?
The balding man's voice sounded like grinding metal. I shook my head. No, that would be too rude. We must win them over with virtue. I looked at the dumbfounded masters. Gentlemen, why do you catch ghosts? For justice. Don't make me laugh. It's for money, isn't it? Since we're all in it for the money, why resort to violence? I pulled a stack of business cards from my bag and tossed them into the air like spirit money. I'm the general distributor for this region. I have more ghosts in my possession than you have ever seen. From now on, I'm done catching ghosts. I'm running a ghost dispatch service. If any of your clients need a ritual or an exorcism, call me. I'll send a ghost over to play along with your performance. I guarantee realistic effects, customer satisfaction, and rave reviews. We all make money together. A win-win. What do you say? The scene fell into a deathly silence. The priest holding the crucifix spilled his holy water. Master Wong's peachwood sword dropped to the ground. Their worldviews had shattered. Having a ghost play along? This is simply genius. An old Taoist priest tremblingly picked up a card.
Can we request specific female ghosts? Clients like the kind with long, flowing hair.
I smiled faintly. That'll cost extra. A great battle dissolved into nothingness. After that day, I became the biggest broker in the paranormal community. All the masters became my downlines. And I sat behind the scenes, counting money until my hands cramped. The business grew bigger and bigger. I even started considering an IPO. I'd already picked the name, Underworld Holdings Group. But just as I was riding high, a real heavy hitter showed up at my door. It wasn't a ghost, and it wasn't a human. It was a cat, a black cat. It perched on the wall of my villa, its golden eyes staring coldly at me.
Meow.
It let out a cry. My employees, whether it was the haunted house family, the security team, or even the water ghost who had become the tyrant of the swimming pool, all knelt on the ground upon hearing that meow. It was a trembling that came from the depths of their souls. I realized it then. This cat was no ordinary creature. It had no ghostly aura, yet possessed a divinity that made one want to bow down and worship. Who are you? I asked warily. The black cat spoke in human language, its voice sounding like a haughty little girl.
Foolish human. You've caused too much of a commotion. Someone up there can't stand it anymore.
Up there. I pointed at the ceiling. Nobody lives upstairs. The black cat rolled its eyes.
The heavens.
My heart skipped a beat. This business expansion was happening a bit too fast. Was I about to go toe-to-toe with the celestial court? What did they say? I asked tentatively.
They say you are engaging in monopolistic practices. You have seriously disrupted the balance of the three realms. They sent me to take you down.
The black cat licked its paws, revealing sharp claws.
Prepare to die.
I looked at it, my brain racing. This was a divine beast. There was no way I could win in a fight. My employees were nothing more than appetizers to it. But I had a more powerful weapon. I fished something out of my pocket. It was a can of top-tier tuna. The black cat's nose twitched. Its movements froze. That lofty aura of divinity instantly crumbled at the edges.
What is that smell?
It swallowed, though it tried hard to hide it. Premium deep-sea bluefin tuna, special edition. Like a weird uncle luring a child, I slowly opened the can. The aroma wafted out. The black cat's eyes went wide and locked on.
Such common fare. I certainly don't care for it.
Despite its words, its body was honest and scooted forward 2 steps. I sighed. Sigh. And here I was planning to get you a supreme VIP card with an unlimited supply of catnip, scratching posts, and automated litter scooping services. Since you don't care for it, I'll just eat it myself. I made a motion to eat. Whoosh! A black shadow flashed by. The can was gone. The black cat squatted in the corner, burying its head in the food, its tail spinning like a propeller.
So tasty.
I smiled. Divine beast? As long as it has desires, it's my client. By the time it finished and was licking its lips in satisfaction, I was already standing in front of it holding a pet labor contract. Full.
Full.
Then let's talk about compensation.
What compensation?
The black cat bristled. You just terrified my employees, causing serious workplace injuries. Plus, you trespassed on a private residence. According to human laws.
Stop, stop, stop.
The black cat waved its paw impatiently.
What do you want?
Simple. Be my mascot. Your job is to act cute every day and hold down the fort. In return, you get unlimited top-tier canned food. The black cat struggled with the decision for 3 seconds. Then it extended a paw and pressed it onto the contract.
Deal. But you have to brush my fur every day.
I looked at the plum blossom paw print on the contract. I was blooming with joy inside. With this divine beast keeping watch, my business was rock solid. If anyone dared to cause trouble in the future, I just shut the doors and released the cat. With the addition of the black cat, I named it Wonkai, and its protests were invalid for 3 days. My sphere of influence expanded rapidly. But I still felt like something was missing. Until one day, while scrolling through short videos, I saw a trending topic. Hashtag cries of battle heard late night at ancient battlefield ruins. Hashtag archaeology team encounters ghost loop. Hashtag. I checked the location. It was just in the neighboring city. An ancient battlefield? What did that mean? It meant thousands of souls of ancient soldiers. This was an army. If I could recruit this army, my ambition began to swell. Although I had a security team now, they were just a ragtag bunch. To truly establish a foothold in this weird world, or even build my own order, I needed a regular army. I took Wonkai and rushed to the ancient battlefield that very night. When we arrived, it was late. The wilderness was heavy with fog. Faintly, I could hear the clash of armored horses and weapons, along with mournful bugle horns. The Yin energy here was 100 times stronger than at Fuyuan building. Even Wonkai dropped its playful demeanor and arched its back.
Be careful, that big guy isn't one to mess with.
It was talking about the leader of this ghost army, the ghost general. I nodded, took a deep breath, and strode into the fog.
Who goes there?
A shout thundered. Countless broken arrows appeared out of thin air, aimed right at me. The fog parted, revealing a squad of ghost soldiers in tattered armor blocking the way. Behind them, a massive, ghostly figure riding a skeletal horse and holding a spear watched me coldly. That murderous aura made my legs go a bit weak. But I couldn't cower. I was a man who was going to be the boss. I'm here to bring you warmth. I raised my hands to show I had no weapons.
Bring warmth.
The ghost general sneered.
I need no warmth. I only need blood. Kill.
He pointed his spear. The ghost soldiers were about to charge. Hold on. I roared. You have guarded this place for 1,000 years, but what is it for? To protect the country? The country perished long ago. For glory and riches. You don't even receive burnt paper money. You are just a bunch of lonely wild ghosts forgotten by history. My words stabbed their hearts like knives. The ghost general was enraged.
How dare you, brat, disturb my army's morale?
He shook his spear, about to run me through. Wonkai was about to pounce, but I stopped it. I pulled a tablet out of my bag and played a video. It was a video of a modern military parade. Precise formations, advanced tanks, roaring fighter jets. The ghost general froze. The ghost soldiers were also stunned. They looked at the steel beasts on the screen, feeling a shock they had never experienced before.
Is this the army of today?
The ghost general's voice trembled. Yes. Compared to them, what are you? Can your cavalry charge through tanks? Can your arrows outrange missiles? Times have changed, General. I walked over and handed him the tablet. You have been eliminated. The ghost general dejectedly lowered his long spear. In that moment, he seemed to age 10 years. 1,000 years of persistence seemed so ridiculous in the face of modern technology.
Then, what can we still do?
He asked blankly. I revealed that signature profiteer smile. Make movies. Think about it. In today's period war movies, the special effects are fake as hell. If you act, it's a genuine army of thousands. That's real killing intent. Plus, no need for boxed lunches, no need for wires. The cost is incredibly low. You will become the greatest extras in film history. You could even become a movie king. The ghost general looked at me, the ghost fire in his eyes rekindling.
Movie. King.
Yes, admired by 10,000 people. Your name carved on the Walk of Fame. Isn't that better than being a wild ghost here? Half an hour later, The Ghost General and I signed an exclusive talent agency contract. The next day, a mysterious team of special actors appeared at Underworld Studios. They had strict discipline and explosive acting skills, mostly because the killing intent was too real. I also officially entered the entertainment industry. The legend of being a director in horror movies kicked off from there. My business empire began to take shape. Tourism, real estate, security, agency, film, blossoming across 5 major sectors. The resentment recycling bin app was maxed out. I even became an honorary consultant for the Underworld. But just then, the greatest crisis arrived. Not from ghosts, nor from gods, but from humans, the human heart. Some were jealous of my wealth. Others coveted my abilities. A mysterious organization, the Spirit Extinguishing Society, surfaced. They believed ghosts were evil and must be completely annihilated. And someone like me, who used ghosts to make money, was a traitor to humanity. They kidnapped my landlady. That's right, the landlady who, although she urged me for rent every month, secretly brought me dumplings when I was at my poorest. This was my reverse scale. Even though I'm now worth over 100 million, I will forever remember the taste of that bowl of dumplings. The Spirit Extinguishing Society sent a video. The location was the top of the city's TV tower. They had set up a 9 heavens thunderfire array. As long as I dared to go, they would blast me and the landlady into dust.
Boss, I'll go level them.
The Ghost General shouldered his spear, radiating killing intent.
I'll go drown them.
The Water Ghost rubbed his fists.
I'll go scare them to death.
Old Zhang and his family of 3 were filled with righteous indignation. Wang Kai even transformed directly, turning into a giant black tiger, roaring at the sky. I waved my hand. No need. Using violence against this kind of person is too low class. Don't they claim to be righteous? Don't they want to judge me in front of the whole city? Then I'll let them see what a real public opinion war is. I snapped my fingers. Mediterranean, take over all the outdoor screens and TV signals in the city. Old Zhang, start the live stream. General, bring your soldiers, put on your most handsome armor, and hold the line for me. Since we're going to play, let's play big. Top of the TV tower, the wind howled. The president of the Spirit Extinguishing Society, a fanatical old man in a white robe, was holding a knife to the landlady's neck. Flashing lightning talismans surrounded them. He was roaring at the camera, listing my crimes, colluding with demons, profaning the dead. He spoke with impassioned generosity. But I did not appear. Instead, screens all over the city suddenly lit up. It was my live stream. I played a video. It was the Ghost General at the Hungyan set, using his body to block falling rocks to save a small actor who was almost hit by a prop. It was the Water Ghost at the reservoir, lifting a drowning child out of the water. It was the Mediterranean programmer, working through the night using network technology to help the police crack a fraud case. It was old Zhang's family, making a girl with depression laugh heartily inside a haunted house. The images flowed, accompanied by touching background music. The whole city went silent. These are the demons you speak of? My voice rang out through the city's sound systems. They were humans in life, and they still have hearts in death. On the contrary, it is you. The scene shifted to surveillance footage showing the Spirit Extinction Society murdering their own kind in secret to steal magical artifacts. It was footage the Mediterranean had dug up after hacking into their internal servers. The tide of public opinion turned in an instant.
Let him go. Let him go.
Someone shouted first. I don't know who. Thousands gathered beneath the TV tower. Not just humans, but ghosts as well. The spirits I had helped, the ones who had found dignity and worth within my supply chain. They had all come. They didn't attack. They simply stood there in silence, side by side with the humans. Humans and ghosts, united on the same path. It was a sight that shook the heavens and the earth. The president of the Spirit Extinction Society broke down. His convictions crumbled. Looking down at the dense masses of humans and spirits, the blade in his hand clambered to the ground.
Was I wrong?
Just then, a bolt of lightning struck. But it didn't hit me. Instead, It shattered their so-called thunderfire formation. Wong Kai stood haughtily upon the clouds, retracting his claws.
Too noisy. This cat is trying to sleep.
The crisis was averted. The landlady was saved. She even asked if I wanted dumplings as she came down. I smiled, almost tearing up. After this battle, the concept of a human ghost republic took deep root in people's hearts. My company was officially renamed the Inyong Harmony Group. Years later, I stood atop that tallest unfinished building, now my corporate headquarters. The lady in red poured me a cup of tea. Down in the fountain, the water ghost was performing synchronized swimming for the children. The ghost general was training the new security guards. The Mediterranean was researching how to patch the Underworld signal into the 5G network. This world still holds fear and grievance. But as long as I am here, there is no ghost I can't hustle, and no deal I can't close. I looked into the distance, the corners of my mouth turning up slightly. What's the next big trend? Maybe it's time to open a branch with the vampires in the West. After all, they're sitting on such a massive blood bank, yet still use such a primitive one-on-one sales model. It's a complete waste of resources. It's time to show them the meaning of shared blood bags and midnight fresh delivery. The end.